This episode is sponsored by Wiggle, a female-focused intimate wellness company that's all about supporting confidence, intimate well-being, and pleasure. As we get into the holiday season, I've been thinking a lot about what it means to give gifts that actually matter, things that help us feel good in our bodies, connected to ourselves, and supported in our well-being. Wiggle offers a thoughtful range of intimate wellness essentials and pleasure products designed with women in mind. Everything is high quality, body safe, and created to help you explore what feels good with ease and confidence. Whether you're shopping for someone you care about or choosing something for yourself, their products make it simple to prioritize your own well-being and pleasure in a way that feels empowering and personal. If you want to give a gift that brings a little more connection, comfort, or pleasure into someone's life, or your own, take a look at Wiggle's festive edit. You can find them online, and I think you'll love what they're doing. Their range includes accessories, condoms, candles, enhancers, fun for couples, kegel balls, lube, and massage oils. And remember, everything arrives in a discreet, plain brown box. Happy holidays. Hello, I am Eleni and this is the Mum Mumble podcast, an online space I created back in 2019 in order to listen to and learn from some amazing people doing amazing things on our little island. Now, I'm not using the word amazing here lightly because when it comes to today's guest, that is exactly what she is. Amazing. So today on the show, I have Egli Shakalli. Egli is an educator who used to teach physics for 28 years. Then she changed course and decided to embrace her other passion that had been bubbling under the surface, one that involved traits she had developed as an educator: curiosity, emotional intelligence, authentic communication. She is now a conscious communication trainer, an NLP life and youth coach, and a certified mediator, drawing from her rich experience to guide others in self-discovery and growth. I met Egli back in February when we travelled to Brussels to attend a seminar and workshop on sex education on behalf of the NGO Centre for Social Innovation here in Cyprus. We clicked instantly, and I fell in love with her calm and collected nature, her wisdom, and her self-awareness. We connected as parents, trying to guide our kids in a hostile world of hate and social media addiction. The latter is something that we discuss a lot on the show today. We also talk about Egli's experience raising a trans child and how that shaped her worldview. So, without further ado, here's Egli and on with the show. Remember, you can contact me via email at eleni@georgiesmummy.com. Egli, welcome to Nicosia and welcome to the studio.
Thank you for having me. I'm so happy to be here.
I'm happy that you're here. It's been a long time coming. We talked about it ever since we were in Brussels.
I think last February.
February, was it? Yeah.
It was such a good time.
It was. We're not going to tell anyone about that, what we did. But yeah, it was very, I found, productive, informative. Yeah?
Definitely.
Learned
a lot as well.
Yeah, it did. Okay, so, I've got a list of things here that I wanted to talk to you about. I really wanted to start, let's start from where we left off in Brussels. The day I was supposed to leave because you stuck around. You were preparing for the Mind X.
That's right. Yeah.
Event, where you had to speak in public.
Yeah.
Without any notes.
You remember that?
Oh my God. No, I was even looking at the videos and I was like, my God, she has no notes. How is she doing this? So talk to me a little bit about what you said at Mindex, why you felt it was important to talk about the things that you did talk about, and what inspired you to do it, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, I was invited by Walid, who runs Mindex, and it was a great opportunity for me. It was my first big public speaking event. My speech was named From Inner Peace to Outer Peace. So I shared a little bit about my own past and my fear of being seen and speaking up, and how that linked to the way I was raised, and how that I dove into from spirituality to a lot of... I've read so many books in my 20s. Thankfully, internet wasn't around, so I was slower process of really absorbing and shifting and learning and processing, and it took a long time. I went through like big depression to where I am now. So I'm very grateful for all those amazing books and writers out there. And one of the things I stumbled upon was something called nonviolent communication, NVC.
Okay.
Which literally changed my life. I came across it about 15 years ago, and I still practice to this day. I'm learning, and this is actually the core of what I'm teaching and training.
Okay.
It's based on nonviolent communication.
So nonviolent communication. So, well, let's take the opposite of that. Violent communication. Where do we see violent communication?
A lot of people ask me, like, they say to me, like, I'm not violent. But when we say violence, we mean even in this more subtle way, even in the way we reward people, our children even, or our students. So, or punishment is a more obvious one. But rewards are also basically the opposite side of the same coin.
Really?
Yeah. Because what's behind the reward?
And it's weird because that's literally like the way the system is built.
That's
from
right.
Schools to families to society.
Exactly. Punishment and reward.
Yeah.
Yeah. And NVC, that's why it really shifted my mindset. And to me, NVC gave me a skill, a tool, but underneath that is a whole philosophy and a way of living and a way of thinking. And it's a totally different mindset. So one of the big takeaways that Marshall Rosenberg wrote, and he founded NVC, was, especially for parenting, something like to ask ourselves two questions. What is it we want our children to do? And the second question is, what do we want our children's reason to be for doing what they're doing? So therefore, do we want them to do the thing because we told them so and we know better? Or do we want them to do it because it's part of their learning curve and because it actually resonates with them as well? And to me, everything is about learning, and growing, and it's a process and a journey, and never really.
And the problem is with many cases is that, well, not only are we not learning, are we not growing? We're sort of like, well, many of us are happy to be static. It's sort of like we found the golden solution and that's it. We're sticking to it and we're not budging. But also I was going to say is that listening to you talk about, thinking about the reason why your kids either want to do or what they're going to do, is that we kind of have to dismember the hierarchy that we're used to. Correct?
Spot on. And that's where the way I was parented was quite authoritative, and I knew that did not do me any good. I think for any of us. And obviously the opposite is not okay either. So we need balance.
Yeah.
And now when my kids were little, I was like reading different parenting books and how do you do this? How do you communicate? And there's all things. I mean, if I look back, like sitting steps and I don't know what they were called. Timeouts and all that.
Oh my God, I did that to Georgie. No wonder he's fucked up. I'm joking. He's fine. But yeah, I was going to say now that someone listening to this will think, okay, so what, am I to be friends with my kids?
No, definitely not.
Okay.
And it's actually very important to keep the parenting role. And that comes with a kindness and a warmth, and the intention always being for learning and growing.
Okay.
Rather than teaching through punishment. Because I've seen it as a parent, I see it through coaching parents, I see it as an educator for 28 years. Punishment doesn't work in the long term. It might work in the short term that we get a kid to be quiet or to do what we want them to do.
Why doesn't it work in the long term, Egli? Can you explain that to our listeners?
Because they don't actually understand why they're doing what they're doing. They're doing it to either not be punished again, or to avoid some kind of... It's fear-based. It's fear-based. So if we want our children... I mean, I think parenting and education should start in reverse. What kind of children do we want to raise? What kind of communities do we want to have? And then work backwards.
Okay.
Do we want people that are just bow their heads down and do what they're told? Or do we want people that have a voice and they're activists and they feel they can make a difference? When we kill someone's spirit, they don't feel that they can make a difference, and therefore they stay quiet, and therefore we end up with governments that we're not happy with.
Yeah. And also we end up with many times violent, let's going back to the non-violent communication, violent individuals, who are just exercising whatever they couldn't express when they were younger.
That's right. And as they say, hurt people.
Yeah.
So therefore, if we bring up kids that are, all they know is violence, they will just recreate that with their own families. We need to break the chain somewhere. We need to step out and think, okay, how can I do this differently in a way that it brings more openness and warmth and kindness into the world?
Yeah. I was going to leave the parenting part to last and then move to the other bit, but let's keep going on this because you have a very interesting parenting story. It's probably something that was kind of like thrown at you and you weren't prepared. I think I can say that you weren't prepared to deal with it. Do you mind telling our listeners your parenting journey and how it got difficult, but in a brilliant way that also expresses everything that you've just explained and told us about parenting?
Mm-hmm. So I have two kids, a 17-year-old and a 16-year-old. Interesting.
That's lovely ages, aren't they?
They're my most important learning curve in my life. I've learned so much from them, and especially from my eldest, who is trans. And I've learned so much from him about what it means to be authentic. His number one need and value in the world is authenticity. Since he was little, it's incredible.
I was going to say, if you can go back and try and trace or explain to us where you noticed, because, you know, when for a child to come out and express themselves and be their authentic selves, it means that you've provided a safe space for them to do that.
I hope so.
Yeah.
That's my intention.
Yeah.
I mean, he started off with subtle things like he didn't want to do ballet, which was the normal thing, and I feel bad that I took my kids to ballet, such a stereotype.
I know, actually. Shame on you, got it. Yeah.
And then, very young. I mean, like, he was like 6 or 7. He's like, I don't want to do ballet. It's like, I didn't understand it, but fair enough. And there was no other indication for me at the time. And then at about 12, he closed up a little bit, and I could tell he was going through some changes. it was through COVID, and he actually set up a tent in the yard because he wanted to sleep outside. I said, okay,
Fine.
fine. I mean, as long as my
Choose
kids,
your battles. Yeah, whatever. It's fine.
as long as my kids are safe.
Yeah.
I don't really. I'm quite open.
Yeah. I think a lot of people would have loved to put a tent out in the garden and stayed there anymore. I mean,
with a pile of books. I mean, there was no mobile phones or anything like that, so it wasn't like he was distracting himself online. No, he was
books
with
and a cup of tea.
Yes,
I'd be happy.
Yeah, and
but also, like the age of 12, like you're pretty much in the swing of teenage years and hormones already by then.
100%.
Yeah.
And I wish someone told me, or I knew at the time, that preteens can be harder than teenage years in many ways. And slowly started with, I'm not very good with remembering dates and stuff like that, but it started with, Mum, I think I'm omnisexual. And I was like, what's that?
Yeah.
So it's like bisexual, but you don't even see gender. Mm-hmm. And then through the years, it changed to eventually saying I'm trans. No, it was non-binary.
Okay.
And of course, non-binary is under the umbrella of trans. Mm-hmm. Of course, I didn't know all this at the time. I didn't know what it was. And and what I'm really, really, really grateful for is that he loves talking about it. We talk and talk and talk for hours. And I've talked to other parents that have LGBTQ or queer kids, trans kids, and they that's one thing that they're open, these parents, and they like love their children for who they are, and they wish they would just communicate more. So I'm very grateful that my kid is really open, and he told me everything that I know. And to the extent that I'm actually facilitating rainbow meetings for Accept.
We're gonna get into that with the rainbow meetings, but did you feel worried at any point, Egli?
My only concern was always, and my questions, I guess, with my kid is to be what he's experiencing, to be aligned with himself. As if it resonates with who he is and his authenticity, then that's fine. Mm-hmm. That there's no external influence, or it's. I mean, obviously, teenage years are supposed to be for experimenting and learning who we are. And I wish I went through it. Yeah. And I'm glad that both my kids are trying to find out who they are in this world, where they fit in.
Yep.
And through this process, I realized that really, I mean, what is really gender, and what does it mean to be male, female, woman, man? I mean, what does that even mean, and who defined all this? And I'm beginning more to understand. I mean, I don't fit into a stereotypical female. I mean, like I'm here with my jeans. I mean, I don't usually wear dresses or skirts. I still feel I'm a female in that sense, but I don't fit into the typical box and stereotype. So yeah, I mean, what I'm learning is that it's a spectrum, and gender is a spectrum, and sometimes we use words to try and pinpoint where we fit in the spectrum so we can communicate in the world, but really we just are who we are, whatever the label is, and we show up in the world and try to find a way to fit in. Yeah.
I mean, you know, there might be a need for categories of some sort in certain sectors of social life. But in general, why would you care if your child is a he or a she?
Yeah, they're still the same wonderful human being. And
when they're just your child.
Exactly.
They're just a personality, and not just, they are a personality. Yeah. They are a character. They are a being.
Yeah. And I'll be very grateful and happy to see my children, the way their behaviors match and resonate with what's inside of them. That means they're authentic, and that's the aim for me, for all of us. A lot of people ask me how hard it was, and I had to stop and think. And then I think it was both very easy and very hard at the same time. I know that sounds weird. Easy in that there was nothing for me really to do. It's who they are. There's not a choice. I mean, there's nothing for me to do. it just is. It's what it is.
Yeah.
I guess it's having acceptance in what I'm learning, and acceptance, of course, comes with a deep understanding. And the hard part is more about getting my head around what it means to live as a trans person in this world where the world is changing and it's becoming more and more dangerous for trans people.
Yeah.
And that's the hard part.
Yeah.
Any other obstacles I had in my own learning, they were mine to figure out.
Yeah.
Nothing to do with my kid at all.
Yeah. So you didn't feel that you were losing something? You didn't go through a mourning stage? Or did you?
Well, losing my child, actually the opposite, because actually this brought us closer together. I guess ironically in some ways, but it brought us so much closer together. I don't think we could be closer in so many ways. The thing I've always tried to do as a parent is not to design in my head a future for my children.
Okay.
Not to attach my own beliefs or my own
hopes and dreams and expectations.
Exactly. Expectations is a key word there. Of what I want them to become. So I'd never had an image or an expectation of who I want them to become. Now, backtracking, you never expect your child to not to be the gender they already are.
That's true.
So, yeah, that was a surprise. So there is mourning in... Sometimes I still see the girl I always saw, and I catch myself feeling a little bit guilty. That, at this point, you shouldn't be seeing that. And at this point, after, I don't know how many, 3 years now, I think. And at the same time, I tell myself, it's a journey. I'm growing, I'm learning. And as long as there's open communication between us, and there's love and understanding, and it's just one step after the next.
Yeah. And I think it's important to come from someone like you, Egli, the fact that, no, it wasn't just one day you're this and the other day you're this, and it's just oohoo and unicorns and glitter farting, whatever it is. It was a process for you.
Definitely.
It was a journey for you. Mm-hmm. There were some learning curves, not just for you, but for your child as well. Yeah. So I think it's important that this honesty is coming from someone like you who is actually living this with your child. Yeah. And, the reason why I mentioned the loss is because obviously, yes, with the whole hyped up environment that we're living in, which has a lot to do with politics, and something like this being weaponized in politics, you hear a lot of people saying, that parent lost their child to the trans ideology or lost this and lost that. And you're like, no, they didn't lose.
Not at all.
Anything. There are parents who have actually lost their kids, as in they are gone. So when we say losing kids to a trans ideology, there are people like you who are saying, I haven't lost my child.
On the contrary.
On the contrary. You found them and they found themselves.
And if I can maybe project and guess what they feel they lost is their own dreams and expectations, like you said before, of who they thought they were going to be, or the families they might become, create, and the fewer expectations we have as parents, the happier our relationship will be with our children. Yeah. And that means, of course, a lot of work on our own selves, and that's where it all starts. Yeah. For me, it's just a journey within myself, and to learn myself better, and self-awareness is key.
It is, very much so, and it's something that a lot of people avoid, unfortunately. So this lived experience of yours, and obviously being an educator and having this self-awareness and being interested in the ways that someone can communicate better, this is obviously what pushed you towards working with LGBTQ plus individuals. And most importantly, what I want to know is about their families, because I was reading a little post that you wrote yesterday, which you'd written a few months back, and you said, we don't have many professionals specialized in working with LGBTQ IA plus individuals and their families. We don't really, do we?
No, we don't. And when I was trying to find for my own kid therapy that had experience with LGBTQ, I mean, initially we went to someone in Cyprus, and well, there was no understanding from the first session.
Did you go because someone recommended?
Yes, someone recommended them.
Because I was going to say, I do, even when it comes to like medical stuff as well, physical, medical issues, not just mental health issues. Oftentimes within the LGBTQ community, there's this understanding, and each recommends a health professional that has helped them. That's why I asked if it was...
Well, I asked around, and I couldn't find anyone specializing in this in Cyprus at the time. Maybe I didn't ask enough, but I couldn't find anyone. So in the end, my kid is actually seeing someone, it's almost 3 years now, online through a very renowned mental health facility, Better Help.
Oh, it's Better Help.
And they have a section for teenagers, and so they kind of take you to another route. But anyway, teen counseling, I think it's called. So extremely happy, and it's really helped my kid a lot.
So you saw a gap here.
Huge. And I'm grateful for a lot of European projects that are now funded in Cyprus and are being run. And I was training recently some health professionals, mental health professionals, under the umbrella of this Rainbow Fam project. And yes, it's lovely to see some people turned up, and they're so curious from learning the actual labels, there's different labels and what they mean, what's the difference between sexuality and gender and all that, to real questions like, but how do I make sure they don't feel judged? It was beautiful to see all these questions come up from these professionals. I
was going to say, I think that a lot of times, because this ties into the communication as well, there's an issue there that we're looking at. Some people are making sense of that picture, that issue that they're looking at. And then there are other people who are like, I want to understand, but I can't. And that's where it's really important that people like you, or European projects like the Rainbow Fam, or even the sex education one that we did when we went to Brussels. That's why it's important that they exist, to be able to explain to people, because no, you're not supposed to know.
Mm-hmm. No, exactly.
You're not supposed to know,
Exactly. And there's a lot, thankfully, I mean, there's good and bad things about internet, but the good thing is that we can learn a lot of things online, and we can take the initiative to learn, or to reach out to projects like this, workshops, where you can become part of a community and actually have the space to talk to other professionals and say, I'm struggling with this, and yes, I'm struggling with the same thing, so we don't feel like, we don't start judging ourselves.
Yeah.
And the more we open up this space, and the more people are specialized in this queer, beautiful community that I've found myself in, is absolutely beautiful community, the more improved mental health we'll have for everyone.
Okay, so have we managed to fill the gap of mental health experts in LGBTQ issues? Are we slowly getting there? Are we nowhere near there?
We're far from what I understand. But there's movement, and that's what's important. We're moving in the right direction. There's people are more and more curious to learn, with carrying less prejudices, less baggage of their own.
What are the problems or the challenges really that the families of LGBTQ plus individuals are facing?
Mm-hmm. A lot of what I hear in Rainbow meetings is, number one, is acceptance. And the biggest pain that people share is being accepted by their parents.
Yeah.
And it's interesting, it doesn't matter how old someone is, they're still carrying that pain. They talk a lot about when they come out. That's another key moment in their lives, how difficult that is. And what I'm learning now through my own kid is they're coming out again and again and again.
They have to keep doing it.
Yeah, and also me as a parent, I find myself having to explain and navigate and pronouns. It's almost every day there is something.
Yeah.
But when you look at it as it's okay, people don't know, and they're just it's their own process. And when there is warmth and kindness and openness, I think that's the only way we can make real change.
Yeah.
Not through I believe that when we push too harshly and too quickly, we can create the opposite effect.
Yeah.
I believe in slow change where people can take their time to adjust their heads and their minds, and so that it's natural, and it comes from a sense of I'm choosing to shift my mindset, not don't force me to shift my mindset.
Yeah. And I can't even begin to imagine how difficult it must be when you talk about acceptance from families in such a closed, traditional, orthodox society like Cyprus. It must be double hard.
Yeah, for sure. I believe so. I'm not an expert. I haven't done research, but that's the sense I'm getting from people I'm talking to. And I've facilitated rainbow meetings in Greek and in English. So even in the English ones, where not everyone is from Cyprus, they have similar challenges.
That's true.
I guess it depends on. We're lucky in this closer community we have. Our family has the biggest impact and role.
I think that is the answer a lot of times to many problems or issues that we're facing. Small communities, building small communities. We often think that you could take me as an example here with the podcast. I'm not going to change the world. I know I'm fully aware that that's not going to happen. But creating change within your small community can shift the balance, can change the tide.
Yeah, and that is how we change the world, one person at a time, one mind at a time. And that's exactly why I reached out to actually accept. A friend told me about the meetings. I went first as a parent to see what it was like. I immediately sensed such a safe space. I asked if a 15-year-old can join, and they said yes, because you have parent approval. And then we started going together.
Okay.
2 years ago. And I've learned so much from everyone else's journey, understanding my own kid. And I strongly suggest for parents to go to these meetings. They're not just for LGBTQ members; they're for and anyone that is interested and curious to learn and understand allies.
Yeah.
And then we continue together, and then
So I was going to say, when we're talking about creating small communities, that's because we have big conflicts to deal with. We're at a time of division, polarization. I'm not going to go into politics because I don't want to do that. But you did mention in one of your posts that there are bigger conflicts that we have to deal with. And I'm sure that you're fully aware of those conflicts as a parent of a trans kid as well. Oftentimes, we're fighting for the same thing, but we're doing it wrong. Is that the word that I'm looking for? I don't know. Is it a matter of communication? What do you feel is needed within a conflict, whether it is small or big?
Yeah, conflict is a huge topic that I wish more of us would dig into. And I mean, I used to absolutely hate conflict, and I've grown to embrace it because I know that through some tension or misunderstanding, I can actually improve my relationship with someone. If I learn to listen, and really listen, and to learn to repair. So conflict is nothing to be afraid of.
Because I was going to say, because we often think conflict, that means that I'm just going to go and have a massive argument. I'm going to get upset.
Yes, this is why our community and our upbringing is teaching us that either I'm going to get what I need or you're going to get or you need. So in order to protect myself and to keep myself safe, I need to fight.
Okay.
And this is a mindset that we can slowly shift. That is there's not only A and B. There's actually infinite possibilities of how we can solve a conflict. Only if we just listen underneath what we are looking for. I want A, you want B, but my A is meeting some needs and your B is meeting some needs. Let's find a strategy that can meet both of our needs. It might not be specifically A or B, but it will still be meeting our needs, whether that is a need for self-care or for peace or for stimulation or for fun, whatever it is. We're always meeting needs, and under our every feeling that we have, every action that we take, there's always a need that we're trying to meet. And conflict happens at the level of strategies, never at the level of needs.
Elaborate on that.
Yeah. So, say you come home and
the kids are pissing me off.
The kids are pissing you off.
Just a normal day.
They didn't put their things away.
Okay.
You asked them to, clear the kitchen table and they didn't do it.
Yeah.
So the fight looks like it's about the cleaning up the table.
Yeah.
But actually, it's what that means to you. For you, it might mean it might be your need for respect, to be heard. It might mean meet your need for order. It could be a million needs underneath that cleaning the table.
Okay.
The reason your kids did not clean the table was also meeting needs. We're always meeting needs.
What are their needs?
So in that moment, it might be they preference the need for fun, or they preference the need for belonging and connection with their friends. So therefore, they went on their phone. So we're always meeting needs.
Okay.
And so if I come in and shout about the table, the usual scenario is either there's going to be a conflict and a big argument,
and I'm going to end up threatening them or something like that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm just being honest.
It's normal every day, and there should not be any judgment ever. We're always doing the best we know how to do with the skills and knowledge we have in that moment. We either push and to get what we want, and to make sure they understand our pain, and so we voice it really loudly. And the reason we shout so much is because we feel we're not heard. And then the kids will probably do the same. Obviously, we're modeling that kind of argument, so they will they will reflect whatever we give out. And they're trying to defend their own. And what we're doing is, I always imagine this rope between people, and we're just pulling pulling and pulling. And sometimes the rope breaks and the relationship completely disappears, or we give up on each other. So how else do we handle it then? If it's not about A and B, if it's not about the table, what is it about? So we can be curious as parents. We can model curiosity and okay, the table is not done. We start with an observation without judgment.
Okay.
Just an observation. The table, it still has plates on it. Simple observation, like we are a video camera kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then, I'm feeling a bit confused. Why maybe, that's not done. Is it because you were... would you want to tell me why you or is it because you're having fun? Or we can guess what was going on for them.
Okay.
And they will tell us.
Yeah.
And then what I make sure I do, and I do especially with teenagers, as quickly as possible, to go straight to how do we want to move about this next time.
Okay.
Because then they don't hear the judgment. If we go, I even with my own kids, I start with, next time, would you be willing to do this first before you start, I don't know, going on your phone.
Okay, so it's almost like you're giving them a chance
Yes.
to do better.
Yes. And also
Okay.
recognizing that they did not clean their table because they are out of malice or, they were out to get us.
Spite me, yeah.
It's not personal.
Yeah.
And 99% of the time, it's not personal.
I did think about that when you said something else earlier, and I was thinking, it's not personal. It's not personal. I think that is what you've just said now is one of the main reasons of conflict, whether it's small or big.
Yes.
We tend to take it personally.
Exactly. And the bigger the distance between what is happening and ourselves, the more calm and present we can be. And that's why my own journey started more than 30 years ago through spirituality, meditation. Being in the present moment allows us to create that space. And then I don't have to react. Then I can act consciously and deliberately, intentionally, and keeping in mind, what do I want? What is my intention here?
Yeah.
What do I want to achieve? Do I want my children to listen to me because I said so? Or do I want my kids to learn skills, to be empowered and to clear the table because they care for their home to be clean themselves, not because I said so or because they're going to be punished otherwise.
And I also feel that maybe, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong here, but it differs when you have to deal with different ages of kids. So, what we're talking about now may not be as easy and doable for a mother who's, I don't know, got a 6-month-old and a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old in the house. Would you say?
Actually, the foundation is exactly the same.
It is.
The language is different.
Okay.
The way I would communicate, it will be different.
Because, when you've got to do with babies and toddlers, like the one thing that we always say is like, there's no communication, like they're not understanding.
I mean, think about how we communicate with our pets. They talk so much through our body language. We know exactly what they want.
That's
because
true.
we know them so well. And the same with our children. The baby, they communicate through their body language, through their crying, even the way they cry, even the way they move their little hands. There's always communication taking place. And we just need to be open to listen.
I was going to say, not only open to listen, but also to understand.
Exactly.
You have to have the tools and the knowledge to understand.
And for our mindset to be, I wonder what they need right now. Instead of, oh my God, there they go off again.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is it? What is underneath that behavior? Our children speak through behavior.
Yeah.
And the younger they are, it's more behavior, less language. The older they are, it's more, we can communicate more with language. But there still is their behavior talks 1,000 times more than their words. And then we need to stay curious. You have no idea how many times with my own kids, I would come home and I might be, I don't know, ready to tell them off about something that they didn't go the way I wanted it to go. At the end of the day, it's about things going the way we want them to go.
Exactly. Those expectations.
And I bit my tongue and sat there. And then in the end, I realized, oh my God, actually, it was a big day for them at school. Or actually, someone said something to them that was really painful.
Yeah.
And so what we see is the outside, the behavior. If we don't sit and talk with them and listen, really listen, without thinking that we have all the answers. And that's a huge thing I really need to work on myself.
I was going to say, I want to, that.
Yeah, it's
active listening, Egli.
Yeah.
Active listening.
I prefer to call it empathetic listening.
So
listening deeper to the feelings and needs of what is going on for our kids, and having that, being okay with being quiet.
Shutting up.
Yeah. It's probably the most important skill we have.
And it's also very difficult as well.
Very difficult. I struggle. I mean, there's this highlight that I laugh with my daughter, where we're coming back from football and something happened, and I said to her, can I I always ask my kids if I can make a suggestion, because with teenagers you need to ask before you make a suggestion.
Oh my God, yeah, that's so true.
And yeah, because then there's and they're right,
because otherwise it feels like you're lecturing them.
Yeah,
and you've just lost them off the bat.
Exactly, and also we're taking the power away. It's like saying, basically, I'm saying I know better than you. That means what are we communicating that you don't know enough? So that's why they get triggered. They have every right to get triggered when we. So I ask, when I remember,
Good
I
tip.
ask,
Good tip.
can I make a suggestion? And she said, no, not right now, Mom. And I was so difficult to keep my mouth shut. And in the end, I said, I can't, I have to say it. It's so difficult because...
I just went, when you said that she said, no, Mum, that's okay, I just went, what? I know.
And I still wanted to say it so badly. And I mean, I always reflect like, okay, what does that mean about my own mindset? Like, I really think I know so much better than you and I can fix all your problems for you. I'm this fixer mom that I'm trying really hard. It's very difficult.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'm curious now because it's brought on by our conversation, but is there really a motherly instinct? Do we have an instinct to know better? Or is it just the role that we're playing and we think we know better?
I like to think of it like the only difference between us and our kids is the years of experience. And
doesn't that matter?
It does matter if they want to hear it, if they're open to it. Otherwise, I always go for connection first. I try to. It doesn't always work. We say connection before correction, always, whenever we can. Because the interesting fact is, when we create that connection, then they want to hear us.
Okay.
We cannot, even if we actually, when they're teenagers and they are reacting most of the time, not acting, they actually want to do the opposite of what we say because they want to have their need for authenticity and the fact that they're taking control of their lives. For teenagers, the most important needs are belonging, autonomy, and freedom to choose for themselves. And what do they experience every day? All day at school, they've been told what to do, when to go to the bathroom, how to behave. They come home, it's the same for them. I really feel for them.
Then they go to football and it's the same there.
Exactly.
Because you mentioned football.
I really feel for them.
You said connection instead of correction. One of the questions that I wanted to ask you is, does connection come through, apart from the active empathetic listening that you mentioned, does it come through questions? Should we be asking our children questions?
Yeah.
Or should we literally just be shutting up, just being available to them? What would you say is the best way to connect?
Yeah, that depends on every kid. And that's one of the challenges of being a parent. Every child needs different parent.
And that's so true.
Every child needs a different parent. And so like with my eldest, communication, we talk about everything. They love when I ask questions. They love it when I am curious about them. And we just spend hours talking. With my youngest, that they don't enjoy it.
I feel you.
She doesn't enjoy it.
I'm seeing my kids now as well.
Yeah, so I need to find their love language. You know, we have love languages for real intimate relationships. It's the same with our kids. So if your love language is communication and mine is communication, so it works more easily with my eldest. But with my youngest, I need to find their love language. For her to receive my love, I need to speak her language.
Okay.
And that's through, for her, is words of affirmation, is through acts of service, being there for her, not judging, of course, and being there. At the end of the day, all kids need to feel that they matter. Yeah. That at the core, that their values matter, their needs matter, that they're being seen and heard. That's at the core. How we do that will depend on the kid. So yes, sometimes we just listen and shut up. Sometimes it's questions. Every moment is different. Every kid is different. So we need to sense in our body. We know our kids, what we try. And if it doesn't work, we know next time.
Yeah. And also the other thing that I would like for you to confirm, if it's true from the many podcasts and discussions that I've had on the matter, is that it's never just one conversation. It's never just one big moment where they speak to you, you speak to them. There's this exchange of ideas and, you know, you feel that everything's okay. It's every day, small things, everyday examples. Is that true?
I agree 100%. Okay. I visualize it, and when I communicate with when I coach parents, I visualize it like there's a jar with I call it a trust jar.
Okay.
And when the trust is high, and that's through small daily conversations and being there and showing up as we want to show up. The trust fills up. And then when we mess up, and we will, because there's no such a thing as a perfect parent, when we mess up, it's okay, because the trust jar is full, and it will go down a little bit maybe in that moment.
Yeah.
But there's so much foundation.
The investment
to hold
is there.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It holds the relationship.
Yeah.
So every relationship has its ups and downs. The important thing is it's to communicate afterwards and repair it. What do we do after? It's more important than the conflict itself sometimes.
Okay.
And also, of course, then after the repair, we come up maybe with a new strategy of how to coexist, and then to remember and honor that. And of course, we will fail again, and then we discuss it again.
And I'm guessing that it's equally important that we apologize.
100%, because at the end of the day, we're all human beings, and we want to model how we want them to be.
Yeah.
The best thing, the only thing really we can do and influence our kids is through modeling. Model the asking questions, model empathy, then they will receive it. Model curiosity about them, then you'll see when they get older, they start asking you, Mom, how are you?
Yeah.
In the beginning, it's all about them, right?
Yeah.
The world revolves around them, but they come out of it.
Yeah, the truth is that it's so interesting, well, as a mother of a teenage boy as well, is that you do see these glimmers and this little glitter that you're like, oh, I put that foundation there years ago, and there it is.
Yes.
It's there and it's popping up.
Exactly. And also, I taught physics for 28 years, but now I
don't know how you did that. Okay.
And I'm around teenagers all the time, and now I teach social emotional learning, and we talk in class. Part of the lessons I carry with the teenagers is about communication, relationships, and all these things we're talking about now.
Yeah.
And I might say to them, I don't punish my kids, and they will go, what?
That's so weird.
and it's important to listen, and all that, all these things we're talking about now, we teach it. The way to go forward is to teach our children, and the best way to do that is through modeling as parents and educators.
Well, since you spoke about teenagers, and I think whenever we talk about teenagers nowadays, we're like phones, social media.
Yeah.
I was going to say video games, but I don't think that video games are so much of a problem now as much as social media is. That is a podcast that I'm trying to get an expert in to talk to us about. So I want to talk to you about your initiative called Unplugged Cyprus.
Yeah.
I also caught the words digital wellness there. We're plugged in, Egli, constantly. We're hyper connected, and we feel weird. I don't know. I feel weird. There are points in the day where I'm like, is this the effects of staring at a device for so long, and not only just staring at the device, but taking in so much information that I'm pretty sure my mind and my brain is not meant to take in. What would you say, before we go to Unplug Cyprus and what that is, and you can talk to us about the little retreats that you do as well, and I hope you're going to do more because I really want to come to one. What would you say are the main symptoms of being plugged in and hyper-connected? What are you seeing? And maybe let's focus a bit on the teenagers, but if you want to elaborate into our field as well, that's fine. But yeah, what are the symptoms? What are we noticing?
I mean, it's the same for all of us.
It is.
The symptoms. And there's healthy and unhealthy use of screens. And it's not so much, what I'm learning through research is not so much about how long we are on screens, but what we're doing on screens and how easily accessible it is. So the signs are a lot of challenges with mental health, because one of the biggest things that social media brings is comparison. And through comparison is, I think there's a saying about it, I don't know what it is.
There's something, the mother of all evils or something like that. Yeah. And the thing is that we used to do it like with the kid at school or the next door neighbor or, these few people that were in our vicinity. And now all of a sudden it's just like with the whole world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And all the time.
And all the time.
And
Sorry.
it's there,
Yeah.
accessible. And you know, comparing people's lives, people's looks, and even it doesn't matter. I mean, girls experience it more, but boys also feel this stress of not being good enough. And that's basically the big message is not being good enough, that they don't matter, because look at how many amazing people are out there and I'm not like that. That's a big one. Another one is the not being able to delay gratification. My daughter hates those words because she heard them so many times from me.
Okay.
But because the being able to stay with uncomfortable feelings, being able to staying bored, is a process of growth involves being uncomfortable. So how are we going to grow as human beings if we can't stay uncomfortable? And even boredom, which is the slightest bit of uncomfortableness, if I don't know if that's a word, it makes us reach out for our phone. What we do, we distract ourselves, we push down our feelings, we never deal with them, so not only we don't have people listening to us because everyone is looking down on the screen, we don't listen to us. We don't have any space, moments in the day where we are just with our thoughts and alone with our thoughts. Even before we go to sleep, we are probably looking at a screen and then our eyes shut down. We need those moments. This is how we learn and grow. We need to have moments of silence. And that's why, hence the retreat.
Okay.
We need to have moments where we hear our deeper needs, because we get stuck on the tip of the iceberg, which is just behavior. But there's always layers and layers underneath. And the more we spend time in silence, the more we can get in touch with ourselves and get to know ourselves.
Ideally for you, if we lived in like a utopia and we had options, ideally, how would we use this device and what it offers us?
Mm-hmm. I would say turn off as many notifications as possible and use it consciously. Being conscious is core to everything I teach, I think, and believe.
Consciously, does that mean
intentional, being mindful?
So, do I need to look something up? Do I need to spend 5 minutes mindlessly scrolling? How do you consciously use something that is literally become the extension of your body?
Yeah. So we can create, first of all, we can maybe get rid of apps we don't want to be using in our day-to-day from our phones, and maybe have it, on a tablet. For example, I have, Facebook on my tablet that I barely touch. And then I might say, okay, I'm going to spend 10 minutes. And those 10 minutes are conscious, just to see if I have any notifications, and then I'll close it.
Okay.
So consciously choose which apps I have on. Do I really need to have all these notifications keep interrupting me all the time? That's part of the problem.
It's unbelievable. I'm sorry, I keep interrupting you, but I was going to say the notifications. Last year, I took my son's phone away from him for 24 hours. The notifications, Egli, did not stop for a single second. By the time I went to bed, by the time I woke up, there were about 550 notifications on his phone. We are constantly available. They are constantly available.
And through the 28 years of teaching, I really feel I don't teach the same kids anymore. The children have changed, and I'm not the only educator who's saying this, because they're so stimulated all the time. Sometimes I tease them and I say, hey guys, you can see their eyes. They're like, they can't focus. It's not interesting enough. If their dopamine levels are so hyped all the time, then a teacher standing in front of them in their classroom is boring.
It's the most
I
boring
said to them,
thing
shall
ever.
I play some music in the background and make it more TikTok-like? Or, I'm sorry you can't, I tease them, I'm sorry you can't scroll me away.
Or block me, or mute me. Oh my God.
Or put me on 1.5 speed, so, because it goes faster.
Yeah. So they need constant stimulation.
Because they're so used to it. Each notification boosts the dopamine levels, like, oh, something's coming, maybe it's something interesting. And every time it goes up and down. And then we lose value in the small things, in the sunsets, if you know what I mean, in the beauty of relationships, simple things, of everyday things. We lose the value in them. They're boring. Everything else is boring. So we're trying to teach these kids nowadays that they can't sit still. It's unbelievable. In the classroom, they cannot sit still. They are talking, but they don't even realize they're talking. It's shocking. They don't even know they just opened their mouth and talked. It really.
It's like the filters have gone.
Everything is gone, and everything is boring to them. And try to find a way to reach out to them. I go through non-formal education. I mean, I'm blessed that my social emotional learning doesn't have an exam at the end of the day. So it's all discussion based, and I create activities to keep them moving in the classroom, to keep them engaged.
Do you feel, I mean, well, one of my questions was, I was going to ask, where do you feel this is going? Like, can you give us, because you obviously have a lot of contact with the teenagers and the education system, where do you see this going? So like, let's say like 5-10 years, where will we be? Also, I'm wondering if this will be a catalyst maybe for change within the education system, because you said sit still, and oftentimes we're thinking, I can't even sit still. I mean, we're going to get up now after 1 hour of speaking and doing, what we both love. We're really enjoying this. But when we get up, we're going to feel like low on energy. We're going to feel as though we've just given everything and we've just been sitting still and we need to walk it off and all this. So apart from the fact that we're expecting kids to sit still when they have this stimulation in the background, I'm wondering if this will maybe be the reason that the education system starts thinking differently. Mm-hmm. But before we go into, could this be a catalyst for thinking differently? Where do you see us and our kids in 5 or 10 years' time? And don't worry about scaring us, because I think we've already imagined the worst.
Well, my biggest fear is actually that there will not be any change in the educational system.
Oh, God.
And because the bureaucracy takes time to change, it takes time to shift things, I don't think 5-10 years we will have change. And the kids are changing. The world is changing. Yeah. Education needs to go along with it. Yeah. Now, what that will look like, I don't know. There are some schools in the States where they use, they do the education bit on tablets, and everyone's going at their own pace, and they're learning through AI. And then the rest of the day, that doesn't take too long. Mm-hmm. And then the rest of the day is all social and emotional learning.
Wow.
They learn how to be with each other. They learn empathy. They learn. They take public speaking classes. Everything to do with being a human being. And technology is taking that away from us. So we need to add it in some other way, to add it into our education. We need to be more human.
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to ask, do we have any, because we often hear about the Scandinavian model.
Yes.
What's going on over there? Are they doing things better?
Yes.
I do know that they're teaching 6-year-olds. I think it's in Norway. I think they're teaching 6-year-olds how to find fake news online. Mm-hmm. And that's at 6 years old. Mm-hmm. So they're already sort of like working on the idea that whatever you see on your device is not true, and you need to learn to establish what is and what isn't fake.
That's brilliant. And recently I was lucky to be part of a workshop run by a Norwegian educator. Mm. And I've learned a lot from her. And a lot of it is non-formal education.
Wow.
And a lot of it is about listening to the kids and to create their social skills. Okay. So in every lesson, be it physics or maths or English language, to bring in the social aspect, to bring the community aspect, to bring in empathy. Yeah. And they try to bring in that way through activities, not only through books, or they try to spread it out, especially at younger ages.
Wow. Okay. All right. So, yeah, you don't see this being a reason to change the education system. You don't think that there are big minds and heads sitting on a board somewhere going, the world is changing. Maybe we should change along with it.
No, we should change it.
I'm saying, do you think, or can we hope maybe that, the people who are responsible for the way this system works are becoming aware of
Yes,
this.
that is my hope.
Or educators at the very least who are, the boots on the ground.
And it's not so easy to do because you need to restructure a whole educational system. We need to retrain teachers and parents together.
That's the other thing I was wondering. Are educators, teachers now being trained differently than they were like 15 years ago?
I would hope so.
I know, yeah.
I would hope so. And at least I know I don't know much about the state system, but I know they all have to go through some kind of training, which takes a while.
Okay.
And I don't know much about it though.
Okay. Let's go to the Unplugged Cyprus retreats.
Yeah, and events. Yeah, so as a parent and educator, seeing all this, what we just described, I'm in a lot of pain, basically. And I want somehow, like you said, like little bit of a change in some way that can take place. And through this idea, I'm actually partnering in a European funded project called Oasis. And part of it, actually, we had a workshop last night with youth about mindful screen time. And at the end of this project, we're at like month 7 or 8, something like that. It's a 2-year project. At the end of it, we will have kits and activities that educators can use and youth can use for themselves to be more mindful with the screen time. So that came through one of my ideas.
Wow. Another
thing is Unplugged Cyprus, and through that to create pockets of time, I like to see it, like just moments without it to decrease our dopamine levels, see how beautiful it is to connect with board games and even read a book or whatever it is.
Watch a movie, Egli.
Watch a movie, and not even a series.
Our kids don't even watch movies anymore because it's too long.
Exactly. And so through Unplugged, I also train educators. I go into schools. I train parents. I do workshops with teenagers in schools to try and embrace this from all angles.
Are you getting what I'm getting from my son's friends and from other kids that within my vicinity, that they have actually had enough as well? They actually hate. And I use this word very specifically because that is the word that they use. They actually hate it. They hate their phones. They hate social media. They don't even like it.
100%. And my own kids and the kids I teach, my daughter actually said to me, I wish I was born at a time when there was no social media so I wouldn't have FOMO.
Someone said to me, I think it was one of my kids' friends said to me, you're so lucky that you were born in the 80s and you were a teenager in the 90s. And I'm like, yeah, I actually am.
Yeah. And they know it.
And they know it.
And research shows it. 2/3 of kids, 66% of kids know that they actually don't like it and they know it's harmful to them. They know.
But they just can't stop.
FOMO is just too big.
And it's addiction that Egli as well, isn't it?
Yeah, and pulls them back in all the time. So we can't live without them.
Okay.
But let's find a balance. Okay. That's the idea.
So the youth workshops that you're doing, that is the feedback that you're getting from these kids.
Yes.
That they don't like it and that they're
aware.
They're aware and that they want to find ways.
Exactly.
Okay.
They want to find ways.
Do.
Yeah. And what I've learned through the research is that it's not about willpower and grit and I'm going to do it and I'm going to stop. The same way it goes for dieting or stopping smoking. It's not about that. Yeah. It's about small, mindful habits that we build on a daily basis.
And
things.
And when you say mindful, I'm guessing what you mean is that when I do pick up the phone, to actually ask myself, why did I just pick up the phone?
That could be one way.
What's another way?
Another way is to use screen time for ourselves as well.
For ourselves, yeah.
We start with modeling, as we said before. We will model whatever we say. Actually, one of the things I say to parents, before you say anything to your children, whatever you want to tell them, you do it first for a week, see how difficult it is, and then your voice will have more empathy when you're talking to your children. You will tell them that you tried and it's difficult, but let's try to find a way together. Because at every moment we're meeting needs. If we're using our phone, yes, we might be meeting our need for fun and maybe some connection in some way and knowing what's out there, but we're not meeting so many other needs. Yeah. So it's about balancing. Anyway, there's a lot of activities that we do for them to see that and reflect.
So if someone is interested in either the events or the workshop or the retreat, where can they get in contact with you? Where can they find information? Have you got anything that you could give us now? I mean, we're recording on the 5th of November, but this won't come out probably towards the end of November. So do you have something going on that you would like people to know about?
Yeah, so it's still at the beginning. So we had one retreat in August. We had a coffee meetup where we played board games and did lots of activities. And they were telling me, why can't you do one every week? And it's like, I don't have time.
Was there a quiz night as well? I love quiz nights.
Well, that's the idea. And that's what came out of that, because I always love feedback. And one of the feedback was, how about we go for brunch? And the next one is a brunch, a third Sunday of November, whenever that is.
Okay.
We're going to a village and to have brunch. And then after in December, we're thinking of a wine night, wine evening. And I know I've been asked, why can't I do this in Nicosia? Maybe we'll start with Nicosia as well, but at the moment we're in Limassol.
Okay.
The idea is to create these moments and create a community where we have like-minded people, because these people are thirsty for connection, thirsty for deep conversation, thirsty for meeting new people.
Yeah, which we're unfortunately not doing anymore. So I will add to the show notes the links if you want
yes,
to.
Yes, it's an Instagram page. Yeah, I forgot to say.
Yeah.
Thank you for reminding me. So if you go on Instagram, Unplugged Cyprus, there's ways to contact there through WhatsApp or through Instagram.
Can schools contact you as well?
I hope so. That's the idea.
Excellent.
Schools to contact, so we can do evenings with parents. I can go into classrooms to have workshops with teenagers, any age, year 7 to 13.
Yeah. Okay. Brilliant. Okay. Well, can we go on for another hour?
So much to say.
There's so much to say, and there's more on my list, but we're at an hour. I don't want to tire people. And I do hope that you come back and we can talk a bit more. Maybe we'll get some feedback from this interview as well. I'm sure more questions will come up. Thank you so much, Egli, for coming and for sharing all this knowledge with us, and I'm sure a lot of people will find it very, very helpful.
Thank you for inviting me, and I would love to be back and to see you again.
All right, yeah, we'll do that. So thank you. Bye.